Intel App of Small Business Service webinar. With us today, we have Nex-Tech, and we have an exciting topic for you today. The topic is to get the best of cloud computing without compromise. My name is Bill Law, and I'll be your moderator today. And with me, I have TJ Nagy. He's from the Intel Hybrid Cloud team. He is the Business Development Manager. And with Nex-Tech, we have Steve Riot. He is the Sales Manager. And before we begin, I would like to go over some house rules. If you do have any questions, please use the questions box in the GoToMeeting console. And there will be a Q&A session towards the end of the webinar. So with that, I will now hand off to TJ to introduce you to the Intel App Hub.
Hey, thanks, Bill. Actually, I think we'll have Steve start it off and introduce the agenda, and then he'll hand it over to me.
That's right. So this is Steve Riot, and the agenda we have today is I'm going to do a quick introduction as to the purpose of this call. Then we're going to cover kind of the position and why we're talking about the hybrid cloud and how we see it for our customers. And then TJ is going to talk to us about Intel's position in this and their goals. And then he's going to go into the details of exactly how the solution works. We're going to talk about what makes this unique in the marketplace, probably different than anything I've ever seen. And then finally, we're going to see, how can you get this engaged into your business and how can you use it on a day-to-day basis. It's interesting. Here a while back, TJ and I got acquainted, and he brought this new solution to us here at Nex-Tech because we have a lot of clients that were looking for cloud options. But as you're aware with the cloud, there are some concerns with that, and being completely cloud-based can be a concern for most businesses because if the internet would go down or if the connection to the outside world would go down, then potentially you could lose all your data or not be able to function as a business. And so TJ was telling me about this new solution where it still provides that on-site customer server, and so it still has that on-site piece, but then it gives us the best of the cloud where we can bring in applications and be able to use the best of the cloud in everyday usage. So we've already seen a couple of these in the marketplace. We've already got a couple customers out there already using this, so we are definitely willing to have any of our customers talk to us about it, and we'll be able to share those experiences and even bring them in here to Nex-Tech and show them exactly what we're talking about and how it works. But with that, TJ, will you kind of take over from here?
Sure, sounds good, Steve. Thanks. So just by way of sort of teeing this up, an introduction, most folks kind of want to know what's Intel's interest in this and what are our objectives. And frankly, so I'm TJ Nagy, and I'm with the Intel Hybrid Cloud Group, and this group is based out of our Xeon server group, the people that bring you Xeon chips, which are the engines inside most of today's servers in the world, and probably in your server in your closet right now. We do a real good job of calling on a few really large customers, Dell, Hewlett-Packard, IBM, Lenovo, and large distributors that sell our processors and motherboards to people who make PCs as a business on a regional basis as well, Ingram, Tech Data, some of the large disties. A world that we've never really had a lot of exposure to is small business. And when we did some analysis and started to try and understand the IT environment for a small, medium business user like yourselves on the phone today, we learned a lot. And one of the things we learned is that for businesses that are in the 5 to 50 employee range, they are many of them are sitting on servers that are 5+ and in some cases 7+ years old, running circa 2003 Microsoft software. And frankly, if everyone were to sit down at the table and look one another in the eye, I think everyone would agree that your managed service provider yourselves and everyone around you would say, hey, we're running on fumes here, and we're probably waiting for a catastrophic failure to push us over the edge to do something about this server. So we recognize that working capital for small business is a highly valuable commodity and typically pretty stressed. and that this is a decision server refresh, server upgrade that's in the closet, out of mind, out of sight, and the easiest thing to do is do nothing. So you know, small business is kind of faced with two pretty polar choices when it comes to the server refresh. On the one end, you could bring working capital to the table, $10,000, $20,000 for a 25 or 30 person office for a new server environment. But again, that's valuable working capital that's hard to part with given the opportunity cost of it being used somewhere else, and leaves small medium business in that frame of mind where let's just ignore the issue. At the other end of the extreme, as Steve mentioned, is the need, or rather the assertion that everything could be in the cloud and that it's a service out of sight, out of mind. It just works. And again, as Steve mentioned, that leaves folks, when you peel the onion back a little bit on it, just a little feeling a little exposed when they realize that that means their applications and their data, valuable and in some cases highly confidential customer data, is off-site. And they're only as good as their internet connection is that on any given day. And of course, that would always be good with Nex-Tech's internet connection, right, Steve? But the realities are there's always points of failure in any server environment, you know, whether on-prem or off-prem. But it does leave people feeling a little exposed when they talk pure cloud play. So we come along and we bring something that we think kind of sits in the middle. It brings a little bit of the best of what people like about the cloud, which is monthly service subscription, pay as you need, pay as you go, scale up, scale down, depending on how your business is doing, and only pay per user per month for software access and IT resources off-site. And it also brings the best of the physical working capital physical upgrade on-premise. So we deliver through Nex-Tech a hardware solution that sits on your location in your office with a catalog of software applications that you pick from in the catalog, and Nex-Tech loads on that server. So your applications are hosted locally on a server, and through the cloud, Nex-Tech provides remote management through a web portal to turn on and off users for software access as you need them, and also do remote remediation and management of that server, including alerts to when hard drives might be about to fail or when memory is corrupted. So they can actually be proactive and reach out and fix the server probably before you even know anything's wrong with it, all over the internet through the cloud. And then all of those softwares that you may want to use from our catalog are available through the cloud, and the billing for those software use, so your software utility happens through the cloud as well. So we bring hardware and software as a monthly operational expense and managed services from Nex-Tech all in one nice packaged up fixed price every month. The variable price would be in the amount of software that you might be consuming based on the number of users or employees you have in your office. This is a very interesting chart. I was blown away when I started with this group 6 months ago. I really had no idea that there were this many businesses of the 5 to 100 or so, and the amount of IT spend is just amazing. So it's a huge market, and it's a huge market that is for the reasons I stated up front, not staying current typically on their server environments, and holding on to equipment for 7 plus 8 years and waiting for a catastrophic failure to push them over the edge to do something. It's not good for the small medium business to operate that way. They're running on old equipment at half the speeds they could be, and they're waiting for a failed server to move them towards the next generation. It's not good for them. It's not good for Nex-Tech as a service provider to get a call in that situation, and it's not good for Intel's business either to have folks sitting on equipment that old. So that's the reason Intel's interested. We want to provide a low-cost, operational expense, easy, every 3-year kind of IT refresh environment for you guys to be able to count on and predict the expense and take it off your quarterly operation, your quarterly tax claims, as opposed to a long, drawn-out depreciation schedule over 3 or 4 years for the capital expense that you would otherwise have incurred. So this slide's just designed to sort of lay it out visually. And on the left-hand side, you see 3 rectangles. That is what comprises the Intel Hybrid Cloud AppUp Small Business Service. The Hybrid Cloud is actually a server reference design that Intel brings to market and has some remote management capabilities in it that make it different from one you would just go buy at the typical reseller, retailer, or Dell Direct or whomever. So we bring this hybrid cloud server on-premise to your office, and we have developed some middleware software, some software that sits in our cloud engine and on that server that Nex-Tech uses to remotely manage through a web portal your server, and we securely monitor the usage of software and generate a bill every month for the use of that software based on this secure usage monitoring that we do to see how much software is being consumed. And the last rectangle at the top here is the catalog of software, and this is just a glimpse into some of the softwares that are available in the catalog that Nex-Tech will work with you to figure out what is the right set of softwares to run your business, whether you're hosting Exchange on-premise on your server or hosting Exchange in the cloud. All of that's possible through the Intel Hybrid Cloud server, and Nex-Tech has some well-formed basis and opinion for what's right for certain size offices, both financially and technically. So the server and the software are sold to you through Nex-Tech, and they work with you to define a set of services that you need to make you feel comfortable for the response times for service calls and the kinds of help desk and the kinds of off-site backup that you want, whatever package it makes sense, and you get one bill per month from Nex-Tech for hardware, software, and services, and it's predictable, and it's something you can count on, and you know that you're always using the latest software and the very best hardware, and it's refreshed every 3 years. It's a 36-month arrangement on the Intel Hybrid Cloud hardware. The next slide I just throw in because I want to demonstrate to you that we're growing this catalog. It's a great way for line of business applications like accounting and healthcare and medical records and law firm practice management, et cetera, to be available for them to sell as a subscription service to you without having to put it up in the cloud and running it only from an off-site cloud, which again, especially with vital information like accountants have and doctors have and lawyers have, they just are not okay with that data being out in nowhere land. So to kind of conclude my end of this presentation, I think what I'd like to suggest sets this apart from anything else that's on the market is that when you say hybrid cloud, or if you Wikipedia hybrid cloud, the definition that you'll probably find is where the server is actually, your server is actually located off your premise and in somebody else's data center. You may or may not know where that is, but that's the cloud, and the hybrid nature of it is that it's dedicated to you. In our case, we physically locate that server on your premise, and we believe that addresses a lot of the confidence issues on the control and location of vital data, and also how well your applications will perform. If you're relying on the internet, especially for desktop applications, et cetera, it's only going to be as good as the internet is that day. So we feel like the on-premise nature of this sets us apart. And the other area that is different is that we're offering this AppUp catalog through the cloud, and provide you with access to that software catalog and billing per user per month, ebb and flow as your business grows and grows or contracts. Imagine the accounting firms are pretty busy and usually add some staff in the tax season and don't need those folks around the rest of the year, so they'd be able to turn on QuickBooks or their accounting package, tune it up, tune it down seasonally. And the turnkey monthly hardware, software, and services, all done remotely and managed by Nex-Tech, is all through the cloud, is a pretty unique capability. And especially in Kansas, western Kansas out there where there's a lot of distance between cities and locations and technicians and your offices from time to time, remote management is crucial. And we provide a unique, unparalleled kind of remote web access for them to manage your servers remotely. The other thing that's unique about this, again, is this software catalog. It's nothing like it on the market. It's growing like crazy. We've got about 30 or 40 softwares in that catalog now for you to pick from. All the stuff you need to run your standard Office environment from Microsoft, plus many other applications, and it's growing to 100 by the holiday season coming up here this winter. So, in the end, I think this allows you to stay current with technology with predictable monthly operating expense for it, and sort of sit in confidence knowing that you're providing the very best tools and predictable expenses for IT in the closet, and you can count on it. So Steve, I think I'll turn it back to you and see if there's questions coming in after you're done with this slide. And if not, please don't be shy and fire away. We'll handle your questions real time over the phone here. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, and I wanted to bring it forth that what we're really providing from Nex-Tech standpoint is we're going to provide an end-to-end solution for your business. And have you ever had those pop-ups on your screen that come up and say, it's time to do updates? And of course, those happen with your servers, and there's always patches for those applications. Nex-Tech's going to handle all of those for you, either after hours or when the server's not in use. We're going to provide the hardware, the installation, the software, everything you need to make your business run. And so the key thing is that you're not focused on a server or security of that server or the maintenance of your network. You're focused on running your business. Nex-Tech and Intel handle all of that kind of back-end stuff to make sure applications run, and we can deliver that through this hybrid cloud with both physical equipment located on your site and with that support that Nex-Tech brings. So still the same folks that you may know from Nex-Tech, a whole team of engineers back here at Nex-Tech that can either be on-site, off-site, remote support guys ready to go to fix your problems when they either arise or hopefully even before you happen to notice. So the way that we have, we work with you is, first of all, if you reach out and give us a call, send us an email, which my email address is listed on there. We can give you a demo of this solution, of what it physically looks like and what the cloud piece of it looks like. We can give you a price quote on exactly what it costs for your company to get involved with this hybrid cloud. And of course, all of this is done at no charge to you. TJ has been out here to Nex-Tech, out here in Hays, Kansas, to train and kind of certify both our engineers and our salespeople. So we are very familiar with the solution. And then, of course, the last piece of that is at any time that you want to talk to a customer that we currently have that already has this installed and running at their site, we'll be glad to give you their names and contact information so that you can talk to somebody running this in their business and know how it's working for them. Again, our goal here at Nex-Tech is to find the best solution for your business, and we really feel like in today's world, maybe completely on-site might not be the best, maybe completely cloud may not be the best solution, but we have the best of both worlds here, and we can provide this to you today, and we're ready to go. DJ?
Good. Thanks, Steve, and we're really pleased to be working with Nex-Tech in the Kansas market. So we're right there for them as they need us as well to back up our solution. Bill, do we have any questions come in?
So far, there are no questions.
Okay.
Well, the good thing is here, I have Tricia sitting in here, and we have 3 gift cards to give away. And so she's got this fancy thing with all the names in it, and she is going to be choosing our name. So who's our first name here? We have Chris Klein. Chris, you'll be receiving an email from us, and we'll be getting your information to get you your gift card. We have Teresa Chrysler. Teresa will be getting the same information emailed to you. And then our final winner here is Galen Romy. So Galen, we will be getting, you'll be getting an email from us so that we can get your card directly out to you.
We do have one question on the from the audience. The question is, how does the software license work?
Sure. So so it depends which software license we're talking about. We have an array of Microsoft products and various VPN and firewall and backup and vertical line of business applications. So the way that we negotiate the licenses with the software vendors themselves, and we negotiate with them for the best possible price that we can drive with our volume. And we through Nex-Tech, we make the pricing available to them to quote for you, and it's done on a most typically done on a per user per month kind of billing. Microsoft Server 2008, which is the most pervasively used server operating system environment on the planet, is licensed to you either as a $7-8 per month kind of a rate per user, or you can purchase it also as an unlimited access license from Nex-Tech, which is a little bit more than that, but it's an unlimited license. So I hope that answers the question. If it doesn't, please kind of restate it in the question panel as I'm speaking, and make sure to get it clarified.
So,
and it may have been more than you needed.
And TJ, yep. This is Steve. Some of the other things that, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but also as newer versions of that software comes out, how does that work since you're paying monthly?
Oh, right. So we're the software vendors love this because they only have to go to one place, us, to do patch management and to provide a central facility to upgrade all of their small business customers who are using their products through our catalog. They come to Intel in our validation labs in Sacramento, California, and our labs validate their upgrades and their patches and make it available in the catalog, and through the cloud, Nex-Tech will upgrade you as those are made available real time.
So TJ, a follow-up to that question. What happens if we crash and have to use our server while not online? Do we lose access to the software?
No, the software is loaded on that server and it's local. It's right there. It's not through the cloud. Your applications are loaded on your server, on your premise, and if that server crashes, you're going to have with Nex-Tech either local. You'll either opt for a local disaster recovery second server, very inexpensive local way to get back up and running within 10 minutes, and all can be done remotely by your Nex-Tech technician can have you up and running with your backup. And then you should also be talking with Nex-Tech about catastrophic event failure of your, assume the worst, right? Your building's gone. You should have a cloud-based backup of all of your data in addition to a local backup as well, and Nex-Tech can consult with you on that strategy.
And TJ, one of the things that I found really key here too is that we haven't really mentioned is this is a physical server that has been virtualized, which gives us a lot of capability of recovery in a very quick time frame. So some of the things that TJ was talking about of being able to do these 10-minute recoveries is due to this server having a virtualized OS and whatnot. And I realize I'm getting a little techie on that side, and we'll be glad to explain all the details of what that means. And then, like TJ said, we have a couple different options here at Nex-Tech to get your data encrypted and off-site. So, of course, we can get it off-site, but we can't access it. Here at Nex-Tech, we have our own data center, so we can encrypt your data and send it to our data center, so if a localized disaster happens. And then we also have redundant data centers in other parts of the country, again, sending your encrypted data to those different parts of the country, so that even if a more regionalized disaster happens, I don't know that we'll be worried about it, but even if it would happen, we can recover your data from data centers from across the country.
Okay, that's great. So what happens if we lose internet access, not in terms of recovery? Can we still access the server?
Yes, your server's on site in your physical office. It's located at your side, literally in your office. So your access to this server isn't via the internet. It's via your local area network. Your physical wiring and cabling in your building is physically attached to the on-premise server. The server is not located off-site. It's not accessed by the internet by you, but in the reverse, it is accessed via the internet by your Nex-Tech technician and by the software billing engine that we have that allows us to know how many users of each software in the catalog you are using and consuming, and we do that monthly. So if you're 10 users of something one month and 3 the next, we know that, and your bill adjusts accordingly each month through Nex-Tech.
Okay,
Great questions. Keep them coming.
Great. The next question is, we recently purchased a new server. Can that server be used?
No, I think the candidates. Unfortunately, no. I wish we would have caught you before you bought it. I think the absolute right candidate for this is folks that have a server that's 4+ years old, 3 or 4+ years old, and I know there's a ton of them out there. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be shy. There's even some that are 7 and 8. We know, and so see how old your equipment is. It's after the 3rd year that you get these catastrophic drive failures, and that's when you start to see these components start to break down inside of these systems, memory and storage in particular. And God forbid, what you don't want is a data storage failure. So if you have a server that's older than 3 years and north of 5 for sure, get a hold of Steve and get a quote and see how. You will not believe how easy and inexpensive it is to get into this, and I would encourage that to be the call to action.
Okay, great. And would our off-premises staff have remote access to the server that is on site?
Well, this is Steve. The answer to that is
I've got some background noise. I'm going to shut the door in this office. Steve, if you could.
I got you. Yeah, the answer to that is yes. Your off-site staff has access to that from a couple different purposes. If you have employees that need access to applications to run remotely, you can just give them limited access to applications, to individual applications, or to everything on the server, completely controlled by user. You could also be able to remotely manage and maintain that server yourself if that's something, you want to make some fundamental changes and you have the knowledge to be able to do that. You can definitely do that remotely also. So both ways you can have your own staff, your own IT staff to be able to do all those kind of modifications, or if you just want to have employees that use applications remotely out of the office, you can do that too.
Okay, great. The next question is to you, Steve. Is the local server mirrored to a Nex-Tech server? And also, is the software actually installed locally?
So it is a double-part question here. There's actually 3 answers to, is the server mirrored? Yes, we can mirror your server into the cloud, the Nex-Tech cloud, so that in case of a complete hardware failure and you need to spin that server up remotely in our cloud, we can absolutely do that. It is done with the backup and recovery process of the server. In fact, we even have the capability that if you want to use either the local or the cloud mirror of that server to run in a test network environment, i.e. deploy a new software package, you just want to see how it works without running it into your production, you can do that. So we can do that. Or if you want to, you don't want to have a complete mirrored, because of course there's some costs associated to have a complete mirrored solution. You just want to have your data backed up into our Nex-Tech cloud. We can just back up your data. That's a little bit lower cost solution. And I apologize, what was the second part of that question?
Are your applications installed locally?
Yep.
So yes, the applications are installed locally. So and they are backed up, and they can be, again, redundantly backed up into the cloud if that's something that you'd like to do. but yes, they're running locally. So if there was no internet connection at all, a bulldozer came through, cut your connection to your ISP or to Nex-Tech, everything still runs. It just has to check in every once in a while to validate the software licenses, which I know a ton of software does that. So you could run for days or weeks without an internet connection. I can't imagine doing that in today's world, but you could do it.
Okay. The next question is, would this work in a school environment?
In a what?
In a school environment.
School?
Yeah.
Yes, it would. One of the things we run into in talking with educational marketplace is that, in particular with Microsoft, they make some pretty incredible pricing available to education, and it ends up being real easy for education to buy the enterprise license up front for software, and so it just depends on whether that particular classroom or school setting is already purchased enterprise licenses from Microsoft or not. That would be an interesting one for you to get a hold of Steve and run that opportunity by him, because that educational licensing, it becomes the barrier for the cost-benefit analysis on the software through the catalog on a per-user basis.
Okay, great. The next question is the usage billing based on a daily log or on actual time used?
Oh, that's a great question. We may have a good idea for future product capabilities here, Bill. By the hour would be really neat. No, it's done. It actually takes the servers are pinged daily, securely pinged, and they look for ceilings in terms of the number of users who've been activated for a given software package that's been installed on your server on your premise. And at the end of the month, it looks for the highest usage count for that software, and that's how we base our bill. It's not hourly; it's daily, and it bills on the highest count, not the lowest count, as you might expect.
And at the same token, it's very easy to add users and cows as well, right, CJ?
Yeah.
Okay. So then the next question is, can we access our Office server and data from home or when traveling?
So that's a good one for Steve.
The answer is yes, you can. You have remote access to, again, all of your data, so if you just need to pull files or information, I know that a great example of that might be QuickBooks. Maybe that you needed to know some billing information. Maybe you needed to enter some information into your QuickBooks. You can absolutely do that from home, from work, from the road, from the motel room. Anymore, you can do it from your car if you have the right tools to be able to access that data. So, yeah, anywhere around the world you can access your data at any time.
Okay. So the next question is to Steve again. So if we wanted to purchase a server and you would replace it every 3 years, would you do the same with the desktops?
Yeah. Now, I'll be honest with you, Intel is not involved with the desktops. They don't have that program yet. We're pushing TJ to release that program sometime, but currently we do have a bunch of customers, more than 50 different customers out there, where we do this with not only their server, we do it with their desktops, all of that infrastructure, including firewalls, networking switches, cabling, everything. So we can provide everything on an ongoing basis, replace it every 3 years or every 5 years, depending on that. We try not to stretch that equipment quite that far, where we include all the licensing, all the support, all the maintenance, all the on-site installation, everything end to end.
Okay, great. And the next question is, can you explain again how you purchase the software applications on the software catalog?
Sure. So that's actually done with you sit down with Nex-Tech, and they take a look at what you're using on your server now, and what your needs will be on your new server, and you go through the catalog, and Nex-Tech will recommend the softwares that you need to run your, maybe you have a line of business application, some niche or vertical specific. Might be chiropractor, might be a beauty salon software package, something like that, where you've purchased it already and you want to continue to use it. Steve would recommend that you get a Server 2008 license from us, and he'd talk with you about VPN and firewall, to the question that was asked earlier about remote access, and a backup software, so that you have local backup and a cloud-based backup in the event of a failure. So Steve and his team will walk you through picking the right stuff and the tools that they use and are familiar with, and that's how you do it. It's with a consultation with Nex-Tech.
And adding on to that, I would say that it does not have to be Intel-provided software. It can be
Right.
a mix of both. So if you have a specific software package that you're using to run your business, which most businesses do, you can still run that application on this server. It just won't be licensed via Intel or Nex-Tech. You'll be paying for maintenance and licensing as you do today for that particular application. However, one of the interesting things that we see here at Nex-Tech is the software companies, if something stops working right, they always say it's the hardware or it's operating system. That's where Nex-Tech can help you, is we can be your IT staff in the background, so we can work it out between the software provider and us, and figure out what the problem is. And we always recommend you being under maintenance on all software packages, so we'll resolve those issues without you having to be the middleman of saying, well, the software people say it's the hardware people, and the hardware people say it's the software people. We are the hardware people. We are the OS people. We just get on the phone with your particular application provider, and we'll work out the details to make it work for you.
Okay, perfect. That concludes the questions. There are no more questions from the audience.
Sounds good. Thank you, everyone, for attending, and please don't be shy about reaching out to Steve and his team to help you assess how you can get into this.
Okay, great. And Steve, do you have any closing statements before we end?
Just feel free to give me a call, drop me an email. Be glad to show you how easy it is. Everybody always gets worried about pricing when we get to this point of the conversation. We have a one-page, simple-to-understand price list, so be glad to show that to you and go into the details at any time. Thank you, everyone.
Great. Thank you, guys, and thank you for joining us. Once again, if you have questions, feel free to email Steve or TJ. Once again, thank you for joining, and have a great day.